the main benefit of 2 cameras, besides just getting a lot of footage, you're always guaranteed to get twice as much footage if you have 2 cameras. But the thing that you get is continuity of action, which, I mean, I don't know if you know, but I mean, script people used to be referred to as continuity coordinators, because one of their main jobs was, as you would shoot each angle and not at the same time, you wanted to make sure that, you know, that the cigar was in the left hand when they said the line about the whatever. If you're shooting with multiple cameras, so and even in the old days, we used to shoot multiple cameras a lot of times on eating scenes where continuity is a nightmare, and you would do cross angles and stuff like that. It was beneficial, but just to shoot 3 cameras because you have 3 cameras doesn't make any sense at all. But again, the technology and the economic part of it enabled them to do a lot of things which have been, I feel, sort of miserably abused, or, you know, just not a lot of thought has gone into it, so that you have to talk them out of why are we still shooting that wide camera? And, you know, finally, if you have a smart director that realizes, well, you know, the camera crew's here, you know, and they want to shoot, and what, you know, so I said, you know, it's really hurting the soundtrack. Then, you know, the smart ones will say, okay, you know, Stevie, you know, we've got that shot. And then they might use the 2 other cameras a little bit more intelligently, you know. And I will add that there's one exciting thing technologically that's happening now, primarily beginning, I would say, with Simon Hayes and Les Mis, is the whole idea that we can start getting visual effects involved. This whole thing of painting out the booms in the wide shot, and, you know, painting out the microphone so that the microphone, instead of being buried under a bunch of clothing, can actually be out in the open. This will be a wonderful thing technologically, I think. And again, made possible because we're shooting digitally. I mean, to ask them to paint out a microphone when you're shooting film would be a big deal, because they'd have to digitize the film. Then they would have to take it into the visual effects house. They would have to do processes which were much more time consuming and much more difficult, because the software was much more rudimentary on the computers. The computers weren't as fast and all sorts of stuff. But now it's turning out that it's almost routine, you know, and it's something which can be done very easily. And if we can get everybody on board, it opens up a whole new world for current sound departments to actually be able to go back to working sort of the way they used to, which is having a really nice microphone in the right place for the right shot, and not having to keep that microphone a mile away because they happen to be shooting a wide camera for whatever reason for the whole scene. You know, I mean, in the old days, they would shoot the wide shot and then they'd be done with it, and they wouldn't worry about it anymore. But unfortunately now, if you watch current episodic TV, you will see the most peculiar cutting patterns that don't adhere to anything, and also generally have nothing to do with what the actors are saying. You know, they'll be in the wide shot to establish things, then they'll be in the 2 shot, then they'll be in the single, then they'll be back to the wide shot, then they'll be to this person's single, then they'll be, you know, for an over the shoulder, and you know that they're making all those cuts just because the scene basically died. It probably died on the written page.